Hello, good morning. My name is Geneva. I am the Angelic Rainbow Oracle, and you are watching Morning Musings, which is basically where I talk about whatever I have been pondering this morning, either on my own, independently, or with my team, my spirit guide team. So, I'll be honest with you guys, I've had a lot of stuff on my mind here lately. As you can hear, I do sound better. I have been basically not doing a whole lot of anything for almost feels like a week straight. And I'm finally going back to work. Don't mind me. Finally going back to work today, and I gotta tell you how thrilled I am to be going back to work because you know what, guys, the whole stay-at-home life is not for me. It's not for me. I was a stay-at-home mom for a lot of years, and I'll be honest with you, I think that sometimes when you have all the time in the world to sit and be with your own mind, that's probably one of the worst places to be, because when you sit and ruminate, if you don't know what that is, ruminating is basically where you kind of enter yourself into thought spirals, and they can be negative, they can be positive, whatever, but usually it's negative. So when you're saying, hey, don't ruminate, what I'm saying is don't spiral. If you did not know. But the first 2 days that I was home, I don't feel like I actually rested, because I had all of this guilt for, not being able to make the cake orders that I knew were already up on my wall. Guilt for not going to work and making my paycheck like I know I'm supposed to. Guilt for just being human and having to rest. And it's such an important topic, guys, because so many of us do this, and it's really not good for us. So much of what we consider like our inherent value as human beings in our society is tied to our ability to perform, our ability to show up, and most of the time punch a time clock and be there and be present, do the best that we can, and be the best at our jobs or whatever it is we're doing. And that's where we kind of identify ourselves a little bit, right? Like, it becomes a part of our identity. And so when you get sick and your body refuses to recover and you're struggling to just breathe, and you're forced now to take this full stop, it messes with your idea of who you are, and it messes with your idea of self-worth and self-value. And I really had to sit with that over this week, because that's not true. It's not true. Your value is not tied to what you can do, for how much you can do, or how hard you can work, or how hard you can go without ever needing a break or vacation. That's not a character merit. That is actually a really big sign that you are imbalanced in some way, And so for a really long time, because of everything that has been going on in our personal life, if you don't know, my home was basically destroyed after Hurricane Helene, and it took a very long time to fix it. Very, very long time. We're still not completely 100% done fixing it. And so for a whole year, basically a whole year, my family was either hotel hopping or Airbnb hopping because our house was not livable. And during that time, I really threw myself into work, into my job, because it was a good distraction. If I was busy at work, I could let go and not focus, not feel guilty for not constantly thinking about the fact that my world forced to stay home, and I couldn't have that, that feel-good distraction of going in and doing my cakes and feeling good about myself and all of that. It was like my mind turned into some really dark ways and into a lot of self-judgment, a lot of self-criticism, a lot of pulling up old things that, like, come on now, we've been over this 5 years ago. Why are we bringing this up again? And knowing, acutely, like, knowing that that this is unreasonable and ridiculous, and yet still being unable to control it. And when I'm telling you guys this, one, so that I can get these thoughts out of my head, and two, because I think a lot of us do this, right? And so I had to pause a lot over the last week or so, and over especially the last couple of days, and just realize that, you know what? It's not fair to yourself to hold yourself to impossible standards of being 100% every single day. Because you know what? Nobody is. Nobody can ever be absolutely 100% tip-top, ship-shape every single day of their life and show up that way. It just is impossible. Why? Because we're human. Energy comes and goes and fluctuates in us. It's affected by the things that we eat, the things going on around us in our world, our environment, our jobs, our emotions, our energy. It's impacted by our physical health. If you have a chronic disease or you deal with chronic pain like I do, there are just some days where you've already spent your reservoir. And when that happens, it is not serving you to beat yourself up about having to need the rest. It's a disservice, and it actually causes you to end up being, one, having like a true burnout, and two, being unable to recover for a longer period of time, because your immune system becomes compromised because of the stress, because your mind is bogged down, you can't sleep well. And I just want you to ask yourself, and it was a question I had to ask myself, is how many of these things that I was beating myself up about were even actually things that anybody else other than me cared about? Other people cared enough to make it to where I could have that time to rest. And why then did I feel so bad for taking it? If we don't allow people to show up and show us that they care and actually accept that help, we have no right to complain about feeling lonely or sad or feeling unloved. When it is right in your face and you are denying it, that is a form of self-sabotage. That's not a form of strength. Okay? So, if you're somebody who has a hard time resting, but you do have the opportunity, start taking it. Needing rest is not a reflection of some flaw. It's a reflection of your humanity. It's why in countries where they have cap limits on the amount of hours that you're allowed to work and things like that, that overall the people are happier. That's because they recognize the need for balance, right? And we need to start recognizing the need for balance in ourselves. Our world has become so dominated by the need to go, instant gratification, production, results, that somewhere along the line we started to forget our ability and capacity to have compassion and empathy for others and ourselves. And now, as a whole generation, I know my generation, we're burned out, y'all. We are. We're doing the best we can to reset that. But take the time to rest And don't feel guilty for it. Because at the end of the day, taking it now, when the opportunity is there, means that you don't have to do the burnout thing. Means that you can keep showing up. Or means that you can get back into the ball game quicker. Okay? After I really calmed down and let my body rest, I started to feel a lot better, a lot faster. So, take it from me. You matter, even when you can't produce something. Your value is not tied to your productivity. It's tied to your existence. You have value because you exist. That's it. It is enough. Do not forget that. Okay? Love you guys. Bye.